My topic today focuses on how in the world do I make decisions about products that we would like to buy? How do we know they have quality? How do we know that the company producing them is legitimate? How do we know we're not going to be scammed? Well, what I can tell you, having been a merchant now for a couple of decades, is when somebody calls me up and they ask about a particular product that I use or I have recommended, they'll oftentimes ask me a follow-up question. Well, Robert, so send me some reviews. I want to see reviews. Now, my response is always, well, I just would recommend that you do your own search. I don't have any specific reviews to convey to you. Just use your best judgment, your gut instinct, and your intuition, and also do some research of your own on the research behind it. And I would think you'd be able to come to your own independent conclusion. Now, when I'm making decisions for myself, for my family about products, supplements, doesn't matter what it really is, I don't look at any recommendations. I don't look, I don't search, I don't read. And you might want to say, well, what? It doesn't make any sense. Don't you want to have some kind of a sense of what other people are saying about the product? And my answer is no. And the reason is this. I can't begin to tell you the number of solicitations that I receive through email or phone calls from companies, from individuals, look like they're very legitimate, and they'll say to me the following. Well, Robert, I see you're selling, and they'll name the product or they'll look at the website, whatever it might be. And they'll say, listen, we've got a service that'll be guaranteed that you'll make significantly more sales. Research shows your sales were increased by 50%. Now, here's what we do, Robert. What we do is for a fixed fee, which is very reasonable, we will guarantee you 5 recommendations for your product every single day. All right, let's step back and ask ourselves, what? So this company is going to guarantee me 5-star recommendations by, well, I guess, different individuals who are paid, again, to do the very same thing. Are these particular recommendations legitimate? No. Have these people even tried or seen or know about the product? No. These are all phony, made-up recommendations. I can't begin to tell you the number of solicitations I get just like that. And of course, obviously, some companies are willing to go ahead and do just that because they think they'll make a little bit more money. Now, there's a second reason why I don't look at recommendations, and it's the following. I've got several excellent products, high quality, great company. They're effective for most people. And so what happens is when a product is particularly successful, there are going to be competitors that make competing products. Well, what happens? The competitors are saying, wait a minute, this company is taking business away from me. Let's do something about that. So they basically send in terrible reviews. Are these legitimate? No. These are simply something that a competitor is doing to undermine the integrity of the very specific product that's actually being promoted. I've got a lot of personal experience with this. I've got just a number of books I've written over the years that are on Amazon. Amazon invites anybody to send in reviews if there's a certification that they purchased the product. So I don't do this often, but occasionally I'll say, well, gosh, I got a 4-star review on average, but why? How come it's not 4.5? How come it's not better? I mean, I spent 5 years writing this book. So I look at the reviews and great, 5-star, and then suddenly 1-star. Then I'll read what they say. What they say very clearly indicates they didn't look at the book. They don't have the book. They didn't read the book. I mean, what they say has nothing to do with what the book is all about or what I've done. In other words, this is just somebody who's being paid to write a bogus review, a negative review. So actually, the truth is that if you find a lot of very, very critical negative reviews, that's probably an indication that the product is great. You really ought to get it. Anyway, my summary for you is, speaking personally, I don't look at reviews. I'm not interested in reviews. I don't think that I can count on the integrity of these reviews. So how do I make choices? Well, what I'll do is I'll do a search to see if there is any research behind the product, independent research. Now, if it's any kind of a medical device or supplement, there's a wonderful website that captures all the research that's been done on all these products globally and from all countries. It's really quite wonderful. It's a government, United States government website. The address is pubmed.gov, pubmed.gov. I visit that website at least once every other day. And I do searches, and basically you just use some terms that will be applicable to the product itself to see, okay, how many listings do we have? What does the research actually say? Is there any research at all? There's a fine nuance. If there's a particular type of product, there are probably dozens of different companies out there. So not only do you want to know, does this particular product have some merit, but is there research using that specific product? Then now, when you get that and when you get some excellent results, then you've got some great confidence that that's something to take very, very seriously. Now, the final thing I do, and this is probably the most important, and I'm speaking for me personally, is I think there's just some sense that we know internally what would be a good choice for our body, for us to make, for our family. So I'm always counting on checking in with my own gut instincts, my intuition, my sense of whether or not this is going to be right for me or not. Now, if a friend says, well, Robert, this is great, you really ought to do this. What I'll always do is I'll say, well, I trust my friend. I know my friend is telling me this helped them. Will it help me? I'll check in with myself and I'll say, okay, is this something I need now? Is this product reliable or not? And if I get a yes, then I'll oftentimes go ahead and get it. Now, the final very strong recommendation I have is if you're looking, and it doesn't matter what the product is, if you're looking to buy that product, can you call a number? Can you talk to a real person? I don't mean artificial intelligence. I'm not talking about let's have a conversation with a computer. I mean, can you talk with a real person? You can ask them these questions. What research backs up your specific product? See what they say. Now, they may say, well, it's brand new, we don't have anything, but you can kind of get a sense of, is this answer have integrity? Is this company a company that I want to deal with over the long run? So there's a lot of scams out there. There are a lot of bogus companies. You would be surprised at some of the research that has been done by attorney generals, and particularly New York is very big on this. They'll look at the contents of, for example, herbal remedies or supplements. So the supplement will say, St. John's wort, we're giving you 100 grams of this. Well, the researchers have actually examined, well, they're advertising 100 grams, how much is in there? And the result is, well, 5 grams, 10 grams. In other words, the product doesn't have what it says that it has. That's particularly a problem for CBD, which has been something that a lot of companies have gotten into. They advertise it has a certain concentration, and very rarely is that really the case. So my summary is, it's tough to make decisions these days with so much false news, with so much propaganda, with so much, if I could just say, lying out there about products. But I think there is a way, and if I could just summarize, check in with yourself, your gut instinct. Is this something that I really need to do? Some of you like to do muscle testing. Well, muscle test it to see if the muscle testing says yes or the muscle testing says no. Look at actual research studies to see if there's some kind of backing for that technology, for that type of product, and more specifically for that company or that brand, and to see exactly what you get. It's tough to make decisions these days, I want to say. I have a problem. I have a challenge. I make very few decisions to buy because when I do these searches, I suddenly begin to realize, this is not legitimate. There are just so many companies out there that are saying, our products is just like this product that's FDA approved. Well, it's not. It's not like it in any sense of the word. So I just want to say, You may want to continue to look at reviews, but by way of summary again, I want to say I don't look at reviews. I do this in a very different way. I hope this has been somewhat helpful to you in being able to make some decisions about how in the world do you decide what products to actually purchase. And by way of a footnote, I never purchase anything from a company like Amazon because you can never talk to anybody. You can never get a follow-up. So I don't really do that. I don't sell any products on Amazon. I used to, but I don't anymore. So you want to be able to connect with the company. You want to be able to talk with them. You want to be able to get a sense that there's an exchange, there's integrity, there are real people behind this, and that the product has integrity.